Hi everybody, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. My name is Tom Tompkins. I'm the host and the founder of Vehicle Visionary, and thanks to Red River Chevrolet and my friend Diane Walden, today I am going to introduce you to the 2019 Chevrolet Blazer. I'm going to tell you more about what this particular trim package comes with and what other trim packages are available as we work our way through our tour of the 2019 Chevrolet Blazer. And believe it or not, this particular vehicle is one of the hottest selling at Red River Chevrolet right now. They typically can't keep them on the lot more than a couple of days. And I'll show you all the features and amenities that come available with the Blazer as we work our way through the tour. There are multiple trim packages available, and I'll list them on the screen so you'll know what they are. This is the 1LT package, and I really like the design of what Chevrolet has done with this Blazer, including the design of the hood. It's not just the flat hood and basically the squared off front end. The whole vehicle was pretty much square. The aerodynamics of a brick, so to speak, with my 1985 Chevrolet Blazer, but the hood has nice contour to it. It actually follows the lines of really the entire car. And of course, the headlights here are nice, bright headlights. You have daytime running lights, fog lights, a lot of chrome up here with this 1LT package. Nice, large Chevrolet emblem here on the front end. A lot of air going into the motor. It is a 2.5 liter four-cylinder, and I'll give you the numbers on that when we open the hood in just a minute. You won't have any trouble with overheating. A lot of air going in, not only here between the hood and the emblem, but between the emblem and the bumper, and then there's a little bit more underneath, so plenty of air going in. I like the overall design. It looks clean, and it actually is meant to be aerodynamic, so it's going to help you with your gas mileage with the 2.5 liter four-cylinder. And here under the hood of the 2019 Chevrolet Blazer, the 1LT package is the 2.5 liter four-cylinder, putting out 193 horsepower and 188 foot-pounds of torque. It's mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and the gas mileage on this Blazer is 22 miles per gallon in the city and 27 when you're out on the highway. Now, as you upgrade to different trim packages and models of the 2019 Chevrolet Blazer, you will find that there is also a 3.6 liter V6 available. And additionally, underneath the hood, of course, sound deadening material right here, and my favorite thing when you open the hood on these Chevrolet vehicles, the struts that allow it to go up easily and stay up without having to actually hold it up with one of those poles that you would have to dig around and find here. Just what I consider tremendous added value by GM. Good job. Now as we move our way onto the side of the Blazer, you're going to notice black trim all the way down the side. It covers the fenders and all the way down the side of the vehicle. In fact, it'll go all the way around. It's a complete package. I like how that ties in. Marker lights on the right side and the left side here that do light up when the lights are on. 18-inch chrome wheels. I like the way that looks. The chrome wheels just really set this color off. You have power folding and power adjustable and heated mirrors here, turn signal in the side of the mirror, and also in the driver and passenger side rear view mirrors, or side view mirrors I should say, is blind spot monitoring. So if you go to change lanes and there's somebody in your blind spot, you're going to see an indicator light up in orange to let you know that somebody is there. And as we continue to work our way down the side of the Chevrolet Blazer, of course you have the black trim that runs all the way down and around on the underside, the bottom side of the Blazer. Black trim around the windows, tinted windows actually. Of course you have tinted in the front and they're tinted darker in the back, roof rails, and the nice chrome rims. I like that. It sets the paint off on this vehicle. But one of my favorite things is passive entry. That's the little button right here on not only the front doors but the rear as well. And I know I say this a lot in these videos if you watch them on a regular basis, but it means so much when you run into the situation where you've unlocked the front doors and then you need to grab something out of the back, and you do that, and a long time ago you'd have to open the front door again, hit the unlock button. Not anymore. You can hit this button right here. It automatically unlocks the rear doors as well. I like the lines on the body. They're not just flat. There's actually contour, and they match the lines of the window, just giving it such a nice look overall on the vehicle. Here in the back, of course, you have the gas door. You don't need a button in the interior that you've got to seek out. There's nothing on the remote to use. You just push that, it opens right up, revealing the capless fuel fill, which I like the capless fuel fill based on the fact that you don't have to worry about removing a gas cap and finding a place to hang it if you don't want to get gas on the paint. Sometimes that can happen. And you don't have to worry about putting it back in and also getting gas on your hands potentially. A lot of people don't think about that, but that can happen. So that's one of the great benefits of the capless fuel fill. Okay guys, here we are on the inside of the rear of the Blazer, and one of the first things I noticed, I found this little piece laying inside, and I thought that looks like a floor mat, but believe it or not, that's not what it is. It's actually protection. You have this same material here on the bottom, on the floor back here, but also on the back of the rear seats. And that's for when you're hauling something, you want to protect your carpet. That's what this is for. And I've got one off, as you can see, so you can kind of see the difference. So when you get into the back here, you have a few tie-down hooks. You have a couple of nice lights to help give you light back here at night. You also have a panel right here where your fuses are located on the left-hand side. If you ever need to deal with a fuse, they have a fuse that goes out and you need to change one, that's where that is located. Very easy to get to, very convenient. You just pull the cover off right there and you're good to go. Now, you do have tie-downs on the back of the seats, also tie-downs right here in the rear. But one of the things I like the most, there's a couple of little levers here on each side, and when you pull on those, it lets the back seats go down, increasing your storage space. That's always helpful. And if you need to tie something down, of course, you have the tie downs on the back of the seats, the tie downs right here on the rear, right by where the lift gate closes. And underneath this protective plastic piece is where the spare tire is located. You're going to lift that up, and then you'll see the cover for the spare tire, and you can get that out if you ever need to. Now, getting into the lift gate, opening the lift gate, there's three different options on that. You have a button right here. You can just push that button manually. There's also a button on the lower side of the driver's side door, and that's something to pay attention to because there's a couple of benefits there. You can turn that button off if you just don't want to use that or don't want somebody pushing that and opening the lift gate accidentally from the driver's side door, but you can also set it to open to the full capacity all the way up, or 3/4. And there's two advantages to that 3/4 opening. Number one, if you're not as tall as I am, say 5'10", and you want to close this with the button that is actually on the underside, you can push that to close the door as well. Or if you have maybe an older house and you have a smaller garage where the ceiling isn't as high, the door isn't as high or something like that, and you can't open the door all the way in there, but 3/4 will get it open enough to be able to get in and out, no problem. You can also use the remote to open and close the lift gate, as well as the button on the inside of the driver's side door, or the button that's located on the underside of the lift gate itself. Okay guys, we're here in the front seat of the Blazer. Very spacious. A lot of gadgets here, like I say, dramatically different from my 1985 Chevrolet Blazer. Power windows, power locks, everything located on the driver's side door, easy to get to, chrome door handles. I like the way everything's trimmed out in either chrome or gray. There's chrome around the steering wheel, of course. I like that, the Chevrolet logo in the middle. And remember, there's that button that I was talking about for the rear lift gate where you can open it completely 100% of the way, full open, or 3/4, which helps tremendously depending on your situation. Now you have four nice large air conditioning vents here. And one thing about the air conditioner is to change the temperature, you're just going to rotate dual zone climate control. So you've got one for yourself and one for your passenger on each side, and all you're going to do is twist these air vents, and that's what's going to actually change the temperature. You can control the temperature either on the infotainment screen, or you control it right here between the two vents. You can also control it with all of the buttons right here above the two vents as well, and you'll see your temperature for the driver and passenger side on each side of that area. Headlights are controlled and everything to do with all the lights on the vehicle are controlled here right under the left side vent, where you would commonly expect to see that. Right underneath that is the parking brake to either set or release that. The turn stalk is on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, as well as the functionality for your brights, your high beams if you need to use those. Also on the right-hand side is the functionality, the stalk for the windshield wipers and using the windshield washer fluid and all of that. Gauges, the instrument cluster right there, tachometer, speedometer. You can also have a digital speedometer in the middle. I like to use that. Your temperature gauge and your gas gauge right there. On the back of the steering wheel, on the left-hand side, you can select between the stations on your radio, and on the right-hand side, on the back of the steering wheel, you can adjust the volume. Makes it very easy. You don't have to reach for anything. You can keep your hands basically on the steering wheel the whole time. Your cruise control and passive cruise are located on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, and then here on the right-hand side of the steering wheel, you can mute and unmute the radio. You can change many different things, going through and scrolling through the information on your instrument cluster depending on what you want to see. If you want to have a digital speedometer, or if you want to see the tire pressure, all of those different things. There are so many different things there. I'm not going to even try and get into all of it. And one of the things I want to point out, let's just look here. First of all, you have right behind the steering wheel on the right-hand side of the instrument cluster is the start-stop button for the engine. You have the hazard lights underneath that. But over here on the right-hand side of the infotainment screen, you have the traction control on and off switch, and you have a button for opening the glove box. A lot of people might look at the glove box. There is no place to open your glove box on the box itself, so you have that feature right here. The shifter in the middle, of course, you've got another USB port right here. A little bit more storage underneath the two air conditioning vents, two bottle holders right here, and like that, cup holders, and I've got my water bottle in there right now. The shifter, and of course right here in the middle you have the selector for going between the three modes that are available with the Chevrolet Blazer. You have your basic touring mode, you have snow and ice, and you also have sport mode. Okay guys, here we are with the infotainment screen, and I just want to run through a few things with you. You can swipe back and forth. There's only two screens available here, so if you keep trying to swipe, that's as far as it goes. So we'll start here. This is the home screen, and if you need to go home, you can either push home on the screen itself, or there is a home button down here on the bottom underneath that where you can control the radio as well. So you can go back and forth here and control the radio, all its functionality, but I want to show you something that I think is really, really nice as far as a feature that goes here. You've got your fade and your balance. Let's say you're having a conversation with somebody in the front seat, but your passengers in the back seat want to continue to listen to what's on the radio. By simply swiping down like that, you're going to move the audio to the rear of the vehicle, and you can change that however you want right there. I'm going to go back home here. So let me go over a few of these apps with you real quick. Everything's pretty self-explanatory. Of course, you have audio here, phone, Wi-Fi. We'll go into settings in just a second. There's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Of course, you have your OnStar services right there. Well, let's go into settings and look at a few things. You're going to start off, you can change between the available functionality here at the top between system, apps, and vehicle. So with system, you have time and date. And here's something interesting, language. Sometimes people will hop into these vehicles after they purchase them and someone either changed it or maybe it was set this way before. It might be on Spanish or it might be on French. And if you want to go back to English, that's how you do it, just by clicking on languages right there. And of course, phone, Wi-Fi, sounds, favorites, updates, everything you need to know right there. Everything about your apps. You have 4 available apps here. You can work within Android Auto or Apple AutoPlay, Apple CarPlay, depending on what you may be using, audio and phones. Now on vehicle here, you have several different settings. Everything from rear seat reminder, climate and air quality, You have lighting down here. You can work with that. You can change that. Power door locks, remote lock, unlock, and start if you need to change that. And here's two that I think are really important. You've got teen driver. That way, if you have a teen driver and you want them to drive the vehicle, you can put it in teen driver mode, which is going to tame things down and make it a little bit better for them to drive as they're learning. And valet mode. So that means when somebody is valeting your vehicle, it's going to record what they're doing, audio and video. And if you have anything go wrong, you're going to be able to have that video and audio to help you out to deal with whatever the situation may be. And of course, anytime you want to go back home, you just push the home button right here or on the screen itself. Okay, we're here in the back seat, and the first thing I want to point out to you is that on each side of the outside seats, you're going to see a lever. That is a second way you can lower these seats to increase your storage space. Not too much back here, but enough to give you convenience. A USB port and grab handles up here, dual air conditioning vents for your passengers. You've got storage in the doors, power windows, and storage pockets behind the driver's and passenger seats. Also, you have an armrest that doubles as a cup holder, 2 cup holders here for your passengers as well. It's really comfortable back here, a lot of space. I can stretch my legs out pretty well. I'd say that Chevrolet has done an excellent job with how they laid out the back seat here. There's a lot more room than I remember being in my 1985 model. I never rode in the back seat, but I had people that did. And it wasn't quite like this. Plus, that particular model wasn't a 4-door like this one is. Okay guys, I'm out here on the road with the 2019 Blazer. And there's a couple of things I want to make sure that I tell you about. There is park assist available. You have front and rear traffic detection so that if you're moving forward and maybe don't notice that somebody's about to walk across, you're going to get an alert on that. Same in the rear. You also have park assist, and I forgot to mention that the park assist on and off button, by default, it's going to come on when you start the ignition, but it's located to the left of the selector for the modes that I showed you earlier. So I'm going to make sure to edit that in and highlight that so you can see that and know where that button is located. Depending on what your preferences are, you can turn it on or you can turn it off. This little 193 horsepower 2.5 liter 4-cylinder is going to get you down the road and get you around town wherever you need to go and whatever you need to do with absolutely no problem. It accelerates very well. I have it in sport mode right now, and I have to say it's pretty peppy. It'll get you up to speed without a problem. You also have lane keep assist. You have the blind spot monitoring that I mentioned earlier in the side view mirrors. But one of the things I like to do, I really enjoy doing this on this particular road, is seeing how these vehicles handle. Now, I'm cruising at the speed limit of 55 miles an hour, so depending on how smooth you are on the steering wheel, it shouldn't be a problem. But just driving through and staying at the speed limit, I didn't slow down at all right there. I got a little bit of body roll, but it is an SUV, that's to be expected. And the handling of this vehicle is absolutely incredible. I just love the fact that over the years, SUVs have been engineered to handle so much better than they used to. The Chevrolet Blazer that I had was top heavy, the 85 model. This one, of course, it's going to have its limitations depending on how you drive it, but it's not as bulky as former SUVs of the past were. And that draws to a close my time with the 2019 Chevrolet Blazer. I have to say I'm very impressed with this vehicle, and I can see why it is one of Chevrolet's absolute best-selling vehicles right now. Red River Chevrolet cannot keep these things on the lot more than a couple of days. If you'd like to know more about the inventory here at Red River Chevrolet, visit redriverchevy.com. And if you come in, be sure to ask for Diane Walden, the Corvette lady, and tell her that Tom from Vehicle Visionary sent you to see her. Thanks for taking the time to watch today, guys. I will see you next time on Vehicle Visionary.